Thank you very much and good afternoon. What a session, what a discussion. 5G, IoT, AI. I think this time in Barcelona, when we were there, somebody mentioned that we had 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and now we are having AIG before the 6G comes. So you can understand the importance of AI which is going to happen and which was being discussed across all the partners, be it the CSPs, you have heard from Randeep and before that Sham, and or the telecom OEMs like us, Ericsson, Cisco, Ciena, everybody is having that part of AI in their system. So I'm going to discuss a bit about it, that how there's a business impact happening overall with reference to AI. In next 2 or 3 years, India's digital economy is going to be around $1 trillion. And if you see what is a major portion out of it, maybe I'll just come to this side. So main portion out of it is still e-commerce, and then of course there's going to be online travel, food, there is SaaS, media and education. So because of this 1 trillion, then there's going to be impact on the overall economy of India, which is going to be 5 trillion expected to be by 2027. So out of 5 trillion, the digital economy is supposed to be 1 trillion. And that means the growth of digital economy is at a much faster pace as compared to overall growth. So this is the difference which can create in growing the economies of the world. And if you see the consumer market, we are going to be world's third largest consumer market by that time. So this growth of digital economy, of course, and the way there is going to be 20% of GDP on digital economy. And then, of course, this is what? This is what we are now talking for last few hours, that 5G and the related stuff, whether it's core or even the network infrastructure, all this put together then takes us there. And we know about the success which we have seen over a period of last 5, 6, 7 years, especially post-COVID was even much higher pace of growth. The applications like M-Aadhaar, the DigiYatra, the DigiLocker, Umang, there's a huge success with user base of around 138 crore in M-Aadhaar already and around 28 crore in Sanjeevani. So these are the facts which are already there on the table, which has happened over a period of next 3-4 years in this country. I think this really expects a huge round of applause because all of us put together have done it for this country. And this is definitely going to be going further from here. So I think if we see what is happening to the network, while we are having around 950 million broadband subscribers, but Randeep was alluding to what is happening on the network side. We have around 4.6 lakh base stations in this country, which are there from different layers. You call it different frequencies, 5 to 6 different frequencies are there in every network. And then it is a world fastest rollout, and no need to mention this again and again, but we have done around 20 to 25,000 sites per month put together in this country when the 5G was being rolled out. And we know many countries in the world do around 1 or 2,000 in a year. So this was unprecedented effort by the whole industry when this rollout happened in 2023. So if we see then what is already covered, 99% of the districts are already covered in India, which amounts to around 82% population. And no wonder you have seen that in all these M-Aadhaars, DigiYatra, DigiLockers, or even Sanjeevani, which is basically for Class B and Class C towns, the health services. That growth is actually even much faster than the growth in metros and A cities. And this is a very commendable thing, that the digital connectivity actually reduces the barrier. It doesn't make a difference if you are using today in Hyderabad a mobile phone with 5G, or it is happening in a very remote area in Patna. It's the same. They are getting the similar kind of services, they are getting a similar kind of speed, and that is the beauty which digital or 5G or the connectivity can make in the lives of everyone. So if I talk about the growth, we went from 13.5 GB per subscriber per month in 2020 to now in 24 around 27.5 GB. Now this is a huge growth if you see per subscriber per month only from mobile, and this of course does only the 4G, 5G and whatever the complete data consumption from a subscriber. While 5G is already at around 40 GB per subscriber per month, which is today around 300 million subscribers out of 1.2 billion mobile subscribers, and that is around 40 GB. And the trend is further going to go up, and we might have around 50 GB per subscriber per month kind of uses in a span of next 2 to 3 years. So which means the industry still has to work a lot that we are able to give this kind of network and connectivity to our users. But then what is going to happen in future? I think Shyam and Deep are very clearly mentioning, and Jagdeep ji, I have discussed many times, the complexity of network is increasing with every year. And if you see 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, small cells, millimeter wave, there are multiple nodes which are coming, and it is humanly impossible that we can manage these many nodes with proper automation and using AI. Like we are already using some part of it, which I'll discuss, but it is going to become much more complex in the coming times when we are going to have 5G, 5G advanced, and millions of sensors which are going to get connected, the AR, VR, gaming applications, low latency based application, the network is going to become more and more complex. And this is the responsibility of OEMs like us, which we work with our customers, that how to manage these networks where densification is increasing, monetization is very important, the cost from the angle of tonnage on the tower and the power consumption becomes super important, because every 10, 20 watts multiplied by 4.6 lakh base station becomes a huge power consumption. So if you see from that complexity, the power consumption, then of course there is a lot of onus on us that we work together in the industry and we make sure that we are able to manage that. And here comes the next stage of AI ML. We are already using some part of that. You have heard about SON kind of NetAct or managing the network from remote terminals. You have heard about the deployment which can be done as a basic AI ML. We already have those features as a basic feature set that you can optimize the network, you can deploy the network, you can do the network planning, you can do the configuration, but it's still very basic. What happens when we go from traditional to AI-enabled all these applications? The future networks, of course, when 5G advanced and 6G will come, they are going to be much more advanced. And I think Randeep was talking about one point, that how can we see that if there is going to be an event happening here, then we can give bandwidth on demand in this place, and maybe it was not available yesterday, but it should be there today. We have seen the events like Mahakumbh, where 60 crore people came, and the network operators along with the OEMs did a fantastic job. We have not heard these kind of events. 60 crore in a span of 45 days is a very different kind of mass event handling situation. And then we know that when we talk about IPL matches, similarly we see this kind of event happening. The final match was almost like cumulative views of 75 crore people watching that match on the India-New Zealand final match. So we have seen these kind of events, and this is the onus on us that we are able to manage these networks, and there is no other way but to have advanced features of AI ML, which are now there in 5G and going to come in 5G advanced, and then furthermore in 6G. Now, once we talk about 5G advanced and 6G, what is going to happen? What is going to be different than 5G? One is that your hardware is having more and more compute memory, and it is going to be like going to 3 nanometer kind of chips. You can have more capacity, more compute, which is possible. Second is that, of course, you have to build software on top of that hardware. So it's the hardware plus software combined that you get into these kind of things for optimizing your network. Of course, we have to work together with all the partners so that we can have these kind of networks which can do these advanced things. And how this is actually going to be then with 6G in future, where we say the networks can sense, think, and act. And why I say so, so when we try to get information that what is my user base, let's say if there are 200 people here, we can say there are 1 million devices which are connected from an IoT point of view in the area nearby. The network should be able to judge that how many humans are connected, how many machines are connected, how many sensors are connected, and what is the velocity. All that network has to take in an automated environment. That is a think part of it. That is a sense part of it. And then there is a thinking, okay, if these are the connected devices, robots, XR, VR, low latency application, then what should be my action? So networks are going to take automated action with reference to what they read from the network. And then there is going to be act, that how can I give the command so that whatever is required for running this network in the most optimized manner, I just implement that with the command. So future networks are going to be sense it, think about what action to be done, and act, but all in a fully automated way, not with the human intervention, so that this can be actually completed and implemented in a much faster manner. And that is what the journey of AI ML, in a way, if we talk about from a network technology provider. Class 1 now, class 2 with 5G advanced, or maybe next step, and then going so advanced that you can have all this thinking, sensing, and you can do all digital twins at a bigger level, like a city level. This is what we are supposed to support to our partners so that we can reach this level from the AI perspective, from Nokia, or from a telecom OEM perspective. Thank you very much. I think we are heading in that direction. A lot of work to be done still. Thank you very much.